Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Once again, welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Please do understand that I'm not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of our super gorgeous country that lacks proper leadership. Aye, guys. Now, going back to that General MKHWANAZI saga, I don't know what I'm saying when I'm saying going back to the saga, because we literally live there, man. We live in this saga because it has touched the nerve that is supposed, the nerve that we've been complaining about. Hey, when General MKHWANAZI first came out to say, you know what, the system is corrupt and people at the top are involved in many things. The first place that our leadership went to and the politicians went to, not all politicians, we saw politicians that were criticized, that were on the side of General MKHWANAZI. They are still on his side. And there are those, I'm not going to be mentioning them here because you already know who. They came out to say, why is he not following the right protocol? Why is he not following the channels? Why is he coming out to tell the public? Why must he be doing things like that, breaking the public's trust on SAPS, like on law enforcement? Like, hey, child, how disconnected can you be? Because we were already there. It's just that nobody has been listening to us. And when you look at the whole thing, when General MKHWANAZI came out to say those things, he was not saying things that we did not know. But most importantly, South Africans were in shock of the guts, the courage it took for him to come out and say that. So, right, maybe we are the people that were looking for somebody to actually speak on our behalf and say those things. And maybe we didn't check whether General MKHWANAZI is corrupt himself or maybe is protecting himself. But the most important thing to many South Africans was the fact that he is talking about the things that bother us, the things that make us lose the sleep at night, because being unsafe in your own country, it's a huge disaster. We cannot sugarcoat this whole thing. Seeing the country like that, and whenever we complain, it's like we're speaking to deaf ears. Nobody's listening. Right? And somebody once said, when they tell you to use proper channels, the chances are they have those channels under their control. And General MKHWANAZI looked at this whole thing and said, no, I cannot be running around in circles. Let me just come out. And I also believe that before he came out like that, he already worked at the ground around him so that there are people that can support him with information should the need be. Now, they said MKHWANAZI is corrupt, is trying to protect himself because there are cases pending against him. But now, when you roll back to the days of Advocate TEFFO in that court in the SENZO NEYIWA's trial, he has been accusing top people of certain things, and nobody was listening. He was made to be like a mad person. And at this stage now, he came out in the BHEKI podcast and said the things that he is saying with confidence now. You can tell he has new confidence because he is prepared. If we can have more men like this in South Africa, this country can stand. I'm telling you. He has the confidence now to come out and be saying the things that he's saying because he saw MKHWANAZI. People know that if MKHWANAZI doesn't get the support that he deserves, because these allegations are serious, the whole thing will be swept under the carpet right in front of our eyes and we'll move to the next scandal and we'll still remain unsafe. My chat is now, the police commissioner has come out to say, those documents that they're saying I signed, I never signed them. Isn't that evidence enough to prove that General MKHWANAZI is not trying to spin South Africans, rather? I don't know whether it's South African language to say spin, because when you're spinning somebody, you like turning the person to an idiot so that you can take something from them. I don't know if in other countries they speak like that, but yeah, they were trying to spin us. They're trying to spin us. So at the end of the day, when you look at what General MKHWANAZI said. He is not the one that was trying to spin us. The people that came against him, those are the people that were trying to spin us so that we get confused. So, and now that we have these two people giving us more on the fact that General MKHWANAZI is just out there telling the truth for the benefit of South Africans. Now what? Now what? What are they going to say about General MKHWANAZI now? Because it was said he's trying to protect himself. All these things are a lie. Wara. And sorry guys, there is something that made me laugh. Yay! Yeah, my voice is still bad this morning. Even laughing is a problem. My voice is still bad because it sounds like this in the morning, and I just please pardon it. There's something that made me laugh that was said by Shadrach me. Yay! He said, MKHWANAZI is holier than thou, you see, and them they are Satan. They're Satan. Hey, so now, after saying such things, he sort of insinuated that MKHWANAZI is not so clean. You know what I've always said about the comrades? We as South Africans, we were ready to see them change. There was a time then when we were ready to see them change and consider South Africans and be doing things right and forgetting the sins that they've committed before. I'm saying this to say, even if MKHWANAZI was corrupt at some stage somewhere, you know what he said? He said, winners know when to stop. I appreciate a man that takes a different turn when they see that this is too much. Do you get? Because I cannot come here and say General MKHWANAZI is squeaky clean. I don't know their ways. They know each other better at the top. But at this stage, I see a man, sorry guys, that is good, a man that loves South Africa, a man that is patriotic. And because we haven't heard many voices that speak for South Africans, that choose to love South Africans, we take General MKHWANAZI any day in the midst of the criticism, in the midst of smear campaign, in the midst, even when they tell the truth that maybe is corrupt, we won't be able to listen because he chose the South African side. Do you get? You know, I cannot wait for that commission of inquiry because we already have it. It's not going to help me to say I'm not going to be following that story because I'm going to be following that very closely. It's one of the things. No, I never really followed with the Zon Commission because I wasn't interested in politics. And thanks to MK, they drew my eye into this thing. I was like, what in the world? Let me participate in this thing. And then I found what I like to talk about. So at the end of the day, I'm sharing this video this morning because I want to say, now that we have the police commissioner saying, I didn't sign those papers. We have Advocate TEFFO mentioning names just like that confidently. And you can tell that this is a man that has gone through a certain experience. And can you imagine? You see, this is what happened. The confusion happens because it sounds like the way Advocate TEFFO is saying, they use people that are inside to commit crime outside so that we can be confused in the outside. How can that one, because they were already arrested, how come they were out? It said they committed crime outside when they were arrested, and the whole judiciary looks like idiots. The whole the NPA looks like they don't know what they are doing because you see. And also, don't forget that even with NPA, there's corruption, according to General MKHWANAZI. You know, the judiciary, it's a whole mess. So we end up not getting the solution that we want. And you see, there's something that was said by Advocate TEFFO, which is said the man survived. So they use inmates. You see why they need that system corrupt. You see why it is difficult to fix anything in South Africa. If the politicians have powers over our prisons, our jails, our law enforcement, our Chapter 9 institutions, it's a whole mess. Because if you look at what Advocate TEFFO said. He said he was poisoned. It's very easy to take that light and say, no, it's a conspiracy theory. Maybe he had a tummy bug on and all of that. But now these people are confident with the evidence that they have, because you remember, Ramaphosa said, we have evidence. And a man of such qualifications cannot come out here and say we have evidence when they don't. And now Advocate TEFFO as well is saying, it was easy for me to say when I listened to him, because I was like, maybe he's exaggerating. He had a stomach bug. No, nothing serious happened there. He says it was tested and proven by the doctors that you have been poisoned. He says he lost the nails. How can you? These are the people. If these are done by the politicians, what happened to Advocate TEFFO is done by the people who were trying to protect themselves, politicians. It's a problem. It's a problem because they are prepared to harm the people that they are supposed to protect themselves from being held accountable because of the things they were not supposed to do in the first place. So this is a whole disaster. Now, I remember there's a video that I once did a long time ago, collecting the information that I saw on social media. That, in this SENZO NEYIWA trial, it feels like, this could be my mind. Not because those are facts, because we don't know much out here. We're just trying to make sense of this whole thing. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I'm just trying to draw you to the picture that I have in my head. So I thought to myself, okay, the thing is, because it was said Zandi had a problem with her boyfriend, what's his name? But CHICCO's son, LONGWE, CHICCO's son. So maybe it was said he used CHICCO's gun. I'm saying maybe LONGWE was driven by anger at that moment, took his father's gun, went straight where his girlfriend was, and SENZO NEYIWA tried to say, no, you don't do that. And LONGWE accidentally shot SENZO NEYIWA. And right there, out of that confusion of that moment, shot him. And Kelly took the phone to call CHICCO to say, look what your son has done. He has shot SENZO here. And that's what I'm creating in my head. It cannot be true, right? We're trying to piece the pieces together because we are not getting to the final line where we know what happened. The case is not moving. Maybe it's going to move from now. We don't know. And then I'm trying to create that scenario in my head the way I'm seeing it as an ordinary person sitting on the sidelines. That CHICCO said, sit right there, I'm coming. Don't move, don't call anybody, I'm coming. And then when they got there, they did all the means against Kelly's family's will, against Zandi's will, said, no, sit here. Because this is how the system is rigged now in South Africa. So when we look at things at this moment. So now I said, sit here, no, this is going to be okay. And then when SENZO passes away, they feared what the public's going to say, pirates fans are going to say, there's a squash, no, it was a robbery. We all know in South Africa there's crime. We're not going to be putting anyone on the firing line, especially LONGWE, because he's the one that is accidentally shot. SENZO NEYIWA, I'm just quoting here, I'm trying to quote things that never happened. I'm trying to create the story for you that is happening in my head. We are all trying to find answers in our head, right? So I see CHICCO on that day calling the powers that be, because he's also a comrade. That is in my head. The story that is in my head that probably does not exist. I see CHICCO calling the powers that be, the politicians, like, look, this is what has happened. And then the powers that be calls the other powers that be to say, no, take care of that situation. Fine. Hoping the whole thing will just vanish. And the thing did not vanish. And now this protecting, this messing up of this case, trying to make people look like crazy, trying to make people look delulu, like Advocate TEFFO, it is because that's according to me. I'm still telling you things that might not exist, that are living in my head. It stopped being about protecting LONGWE, but protecting the system, the corrupt system that we have in South Africa, that you cannot now say, okay, it was not robbery. And then at the end of the day, we see big names dropping that they colluded to cover up this mess. It was no longer about protecting LONGWE THWALA now. It was about protecting the systems, the powers that be, that are so corrupt to have covered that case to protect CHICCO's son. You see, it's not about protecting Kelly, Zandi, Kelly's mom, or where have you seen that the people that were in the house, we struggled to get them to court? Up to this day, Kelly has never been to court. Or has she been? And I missed it. Why? It is unusual to me. Please let me know in the comment section what you think. So I'm saying this to say this. Even Kelly, her mom, her sister, if you now see how corrupt the system is, how do you then expect Kelly, Zandi, and their mom to come out here and be speaking the truth that South Africans desire to hear so much? How can you expect them? And many people have been asking questions that why is Kelly not talking what happened to Herman if she really loved SENZO? No, it's not even about that. The power that is corrupt is so powerful that you cannot move and be safe. You cannot move and be safe. This is my take on things. Now that Advocate MKHWANAZI and General MKHWANAZI and others are coming out to speak, maybe we're going to see progress, because there is no way you cannot use so much power, resources to protect few individuals. Like the people were saying, they are protecting Kelly, they are protecting Zan, they are protecting the mother, they are protecting LONGWE. No, even LONGWE, and I think wherever they are regretting protecting LONGWE if really he is the one that allegedly shot SENZO NEYIWA. They are regretting, because the whole thing wouldn't have gone this far. It started by protecting LONGWE, and then at the end of the day, it ended up now being protecting the system, the powers that be, because their names cannot be dropped. You see, that is in my head though. This is not the gospel truth. This is in my head. So anyway, guys, if you watched up to here, I'd like to say thank you for watching my videos. Kindly share your views in the comment section. Please let us know how you see this. Now, what is going to happen now? Because General MKHWANAZI was accused of lying to cover himself up. What that is holier than thou. Now that we have the commissioner, we have a advocate TEFFO, a boldly dropping names like that. As I'm talking to you, Julius Malema is trending, BHEKI is trending, Ronald Ramula is trending. So what is going to happen? Are they all delulu? Are they all liars? Are they all corrupt, protecting themselves? Even the one that was poisoned. Why are you poisoning the person that is corrupt? Why? Because you can just come out and say this person is corrupt. Anyway, and guys, and the next time you bump into my videos, kindly watch my ads in full, as that support really goes a long way. And to those who are already watching my ads in full, guys, so do have yourself a super gorgeous day.